without further ado, we're gonna start. Right. So our today's topic, I hope you see well, not just your faces. Let's start again. I'm gonna switch this a little bit here.
Yes, everything was fine.
Okay. So the topic of our today's meeting, let's call it like this, is social media as a helping hand in teaching English. And your host for today's afternoon is me, Oleg Khaynatskiy. So let's start from some brief information is that why should you listen to me? Here by your left, you can see some of the achievements I did for the past 3 years. I've been a member of TESOL Ukraine, as well as providing talks as a presenter in the Ukrainian International Conference of TESOL, the same as the different conferences which were organized by the educational department of the Embassy of the United States in Ukraine. And I guess one of the most prominent and recent events that I was a part of is a TEDx, Ivano-Franka Student Educational Conference. I was invited to become a speaker there. Also, I had quite good achievements and results in working at our national TV channel, First Ukraine. So I've got some things to show you and to share with you today, guys. Today on our today's workshop, we'll try to answer 3 basic questions. It's why, what, and where. Starting from the very top is why using modern smart devices and social media is an essential part of teaching English. What creative tasks can be given to students for making learning fun? And where to find a web platform to prepare a social media-based lesson. So those things we're going to concentrate on today. So starting from very top is actually why using more modern smart devices and social media is an essential part of teaching English. For some of you, the answer might be obvious. From some of you, it can still be a problem point to answer. The way I see it is that whether we like it or not, time goes on, and we as people who work with younger generation of learners should evolve as fast as the technologies and devices around us. The 21st century kids actually demand to have proofs of everything, and it's not going to be a surprise for you. So if you will just tell him or her, I mean your pupil, to put his phone away, he will probably ask, why should I? And instead of trying to find the answer for that question, I would like to recommend you to get inside of their phones by showing what the word smart in smartphone really means. So what creative tasks can be given to students for making learning fun? Now I would actually give you a few examples the way I do it in my classrooms and things which actually were checked with time and with practice. Let's get started. And the first social media platform that we're going to talk about today is going to be Pinterest. I've made up a small definition for some of you who might not know what's that. Pinterest is a free website that requires registrations to use. Users can upload, save, sort, and manage images, which are known as pins, and other social content, such as videos, through collection known as pin boards. So the first recommendation that I would like to provide you is how to share resources with your students with the help of Pinterest. A small piece of information here is that Pinterest boards can be used to provide a structured list of resources for students writing about a certain topic. But please try to instruct your students in some specific way, because instructing your students to research on the web can lead them to distraction. And I'm sure that we don't want our students to be distracted while using their smart devices. The web is too wide and there are many unreliable sources when you use the Pinterest. So sometimes it would be a good idea to restrict what you want them to look at. You can create a board with all the information they need so they can concentrate on writing rather than searching through masses of information which actually Pinterest can provide. Another thing is using Pinterest for group work, because sometimes it's key important not just to give them some tasks as home assignment, but at the same time, it's important to have some group work and class work using social media. So students can work together on a group project, putting together a board, because as some of you might know, Pinterest is actually call their workspace as a board. So you can use a board of ideas and resources. They can work independently and pinning ideas onto the board to create a group collage. And then you, as a teacher, can visit the board, leave some comments and the feedback on the resources which they put together. It might be a very interesting activity for you to do in class as a warming up exercise or a warming up task. By providing them with some comments and some feedback, you can as well check the way they do their small pieces of research. Also, I decided to put a small link over here. So if you would like to learn more about Pinterest in teaching, you can go to bbcactive.com and try to insert the information about using the Pinterest for education. And we are going to move on. And the next thing I would like to talk to you about is grammar with Twitter. I know that some of you might immediately tell me, are you crazy using social media and Twitter in teaching English? Well, some recent research showed that actually now in the United States of America, this is one of the most popular way to interact with your students, because sometimes, you know, when you have big classrooms, it's quite difficult to give a word and actually to interact with each student in your class. In this very case, Twitter works. Your pupils can interact with Twitter while writing, posting, and all of that information can be shown on your smartboard if you got one in your classroom, or on TV, which is going to be connected to your laptop. One of the examples how you can use it is actually use the grammar with Twitter. Imagine that you are standing in front of your class and say, today we're going to work with Twitter. And we're not going to read a typical success story. Instead, we will learn some real-time grammar. By real-time grammar, I mean those sentences, those examples of vocabulary that people use every day by texting and tweeting. After that, you can show them a pre-written post in your social media, which might look like this. So you see that actually it looks like a traditional post, a real-time post, but I'm going to show you a resource I've used to create this specific one. The tweet is the following: the worst day ever. They who came to class made my day. Tried to teach, mistake of mine, but whatever. Hashtag, am I doing this right? Hashtag, simply the best. Yeah, so what I would ask you to do now, let's try to let's try to find some examples of grammar that we can use here. I'll just go back. Okay, and we're back. Yeah, sometimes things happen, you know. So I would like you to try to tell me how many grammar examples can you find in this small post. I'm gonna put it here, and I'll give you some time to look at the post and to try to find some examples of grammar here.
What do you mean by grammar examples?
I mean some, we know some materials, I mean like examples of some grammar tenses, of parts of speech usage, of things like that. By this small post, we can show them how the grammar construction or the parts of speech actually work. So what can you see here?
I can see just mistakes. If we speak about correct grammar, like some verbs are omitted, no subject. It's like a spoken English.
Right. So that's the language, that's the spoken or social media language, as we call it, that sometimes we can omit some parts of speech as pronouns, as nouns, as prepositions, because we have a limited number of syllables here and things that we can use, actually, if I'm not mistaken, only 140. So let's get into this. So in this small teeny tiny post, we've got an example of a complex sentence, superlative adjectives, using of possessive pronouns, using of adverbs, yes, no question, and using of finite verbs. And all of those things are here in this teeny tiny post. So maybe it is really possible just to pre-write some text, to show it on the board, or even to send it to their personal Twitter accounts and ask them to do the same. For example, talked about the things, the way how you can use the Twitter, and some grammar examples you can find while using the Twitter. It's again the complex sentence, superlative adjectives, using of conjunctions, possessive pronouns, using of adverbs, yes, no questions, and using of finite verbs. And as I told you, all of the examples are here. The next thing, and high school students to make paper dolls or some applications with glue and paper to tell you about their family or their native city. So that is why I can suggest you to use such thing which is called an Instagram story. Most of you are using this very device for interacting with your phone for your personal issues and for your personal reasons. But why not to ask your students to create an Instagram story about their mom and dad and a dog eventually. And in addition, you may ask to use specific topical vocabulary or grammar constructions. You can see an example that I've used, an Instagram post that I've created with my family. I've said that I love my girls, and I introduced the audience or the people who see the tweet with my sisters and my nieces, and said that our mom decided not to take a selfie, but to have a coffee instead. Well, maybe next time. And lots of different hashtags, like me and my girls, having fun, Kyiv, Ukraine, and so on. Don't forget to use the hashtags, because hashtags are the key important points at the 21st century communication. Moving on to the Facebook. How couldn't I use the Facebook? And to tell you about some things that might be used in Facebook interaction. My vision of using the Facebook for teaching English is creative writing with Facebook. There are some examples for that. So if you have a topic connected to traveling, for example, you can ask your students to find the most picturesque place in their home city and to make a check-in there, adding the top 5 things why this place is awesome and that everybody should visit it. Obviously, they should do it in their Facebook post. Then, when they turn in with their homework, and believe me, they will do that, you ought to make a poll with the help of Google or the official Facebook page of your school or your educational institution to let them choose the winner. How it may look like. So here's an example of the post that you can show them. I made a check-in in the center of my native city, and I wrote a small, teeny tiny post about it, so that I think that the best place in Kyiv is Maidan Nezalezhnosti, or the Independence Square. I like this place because it contains a lot of memories about the path of my country, and it shows that now we are stronger than ever. Obviously, you can ask them to interact, to leave comments, to share this, and eventually an meme with your face on it, which will be on the board for the whole week. By using the board, I mean the board that you have on Pinterest that you have created beforehand with your students. I know that many teachers now may say that some of the modern kids are quite cruel, so they can make it offensive. Believe me, they won't make it offensive after all the work that you have done. The question, will they do it? The answer is yes, because they like you to be more than just an example of a typical old school teacher who knows nothing about social media. So some of the examples of those memes, I should say that I'm sorry. I'm not going to show memes with my face, because I'll just show you a few of my favorite memes that my students sometimes send to me. That make it an online class. Teachers usually say, please turn off their phones. Some powers of teachers is that we can always contact our students' parents and tell them what they did wrong. And obviously, the key important thing is like, oh, you don't understand. Let me explain it again the exact same way. Let's continue and let's try to make a small maybe note about the platforms that some platforms that you can use while preparing a social media based lesson. From my personal experience, I can say that most of the teachers don't like to surf the web all the time, because there are so many different opportunities, so many different educational web resources, that sometimes we're just lost, saying, okay, I'll just do a copy of materials I've used before and not going to dive into this internet world. So today I will just show you a few resources that I used to prepare these very examples that you have seen today. And you can use them as well. They're free, they're web-based, and they're quite easy to use. So the first website that I may recommend you is actually for the appraisal. It's makeameme.org. It looks like this. Actually, it's a blank website with some random photos. As you see, you can search from existing memes, or you can upload your own picture. And the positive thing in all of that is there is a special app that you can use directly from your phone if you don't have a laptop in your class, for example. So you can interact with your phone, send some memes to them via AirDrop or some Bluetooth devices, whether application you use, and actually show them that it's not that hard. The second is galau.me. That's actually the website I used to create all of those fake screenshot status posts. As you see, this website provides with all the needed resources for you to make your posts on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, iPhone, Facebook, and some chat messengers look as you've made it by yourself. Because I know that there is teachers' privacy. You don't want to share your personal information like your phone number or your personal Facebook page information. It's fine. It's okay. We should be a little bit distracted from our students. So you can always use this resource, which can actually provide you with Facebook chat, Twitter message, WhatsApp conversation. I'm not quite sure is this messenger popular in your countries, but here in Ukraine, Viber and WhatsApp are two most popular messengers. We use them all the time to interact with each other. Also, Facebook status, Twitter generate status, and obviously fake iPhone messages and fake Instagram generator. About the messages, it's quite important to tell them and to show them the examples of real-time English.
Oleg, no sound from you, Oleg.
Dear sir, would you please tell me what is the cost of these apples, please? Because I am eager to buy some for me and my family. Usually the communication will last for not more than 10 seconds. How much? 2 per kilo. Give me 2. Here's $2. Thanks. So I'm not encouraging you stop teaching traditional grammar. I'm encouraging you to show them some variations that actually, while talking and interacting, they can be versatile. They can use the full versions. They can use short versions of language and sentence structure building. So just be versatile in that. And to wind up, because I see that the clocks in my application is ticking, and it is said that we had not much time left. I would like to sum up some of the things that I have said today, that actually, as I see it, while been teaching English for more than 9 years now, that our task as teachers of English is not just to dive into some new vocabulary, but to swim in the ocean of language, and as a caring parent, regularly bring some brain food to our students. And we must eventually understand that this huge ocean is in our pocket, and it's our smart device. So I know that we have got to say goodbye, and I know I'm sad too. I was very honored today to work with you guys, to have this opportunity to interact with you. And thanks. I would like to say thank you for being here, and I'm open. Now I'm actually open to your questions, if you have some.
Will we have the second part of the session? Or it's all and we just stop here?
I think that we can stop from here because I was afraid that I won't make it, and so I tried to cut it as possible, to make it as short and informative as possible.
Okay, so then questions, please. 2 more minutes left, then it closes automatically. So just ask now.
Yeah, hi. I'm just trying to find the way how I can read your comments here.
Oops.
So if it would be possible, you can just maybe ask the question. So
then maybe I can ask. I wrote it in the chat. Like
yeah,
you mentioned that
I see the chat now. Yeah, but you can ask.
And we need to mute someone.
Yeah, mostly people are saying thank you. So thank you too, all of you guys.
When you talked about Facebook, using Facebook, what do you think about adults and that exercise which you showed with place, take a picture of the place you would like to recommend visiting?
Yeah.
Some of the adults are reluctant to do it. How to motivate them?
Well, actually, why do I like it for adults? Because mostly adults got an opportunity to visit some cafes, restaurants, to look around in the city. They have an opportunity, sometimes financial opportunity, to visit some cultural places of interest, which unfortunately sometimes kids can't. So I might motivate them actually saying that, like, I would like to know about this. So, and not just in class, but maybe I would be glad to jump on and to visit this place. So if you're there, make a repost, write about the place, and we're gonna meet and do some stuff together there. Why not? Yeah, so thank you all about the good ideas. Thank you all for participating. Thank you all in being interested in what I'm doing here. Дуже дякую вам за те, що ви були сьогодні зі мною. Щирі вітання з України, з любов'ю в серці.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.